Am I about to get eaten by a lion? Open my eyes. No, I'm not about to get eaten by a lion. Okay, I'm just worried about going on that stage. This is incredible. You all are bringing the energy. I love it, I love it, I love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for spending your time. You all look amazing. You're absolutely gorgeous. I appreciate you being here. And for those of you that don't know who I am by now, my name is Mario Armstrong, and it is time for Never Settle. Y'all ready? Let's go. All right, so here's the deal. I want to tell you something tonight that's super important right now, because so many of you are stuck. You're super stuck in life or in your career, and being stuck creates a whole host of problems. It makes us anxious. It prevents us from growing. It makes us even doubt ourselves, and that makes us miss a ton of opportunities. But do you know what causes us to be stuck? The thing that actually creates all this chaos in our lives, it's called fear. That's it, fear, people. And here's the thing about fear. Fear is one of those things where, as it relates to pursuing your passion and a more fulfilled life, and that is, fear is fake. It is absolutely unreal. Fear is fake. I so want to drive this point home to you all tonight. You see, all your brain knows is actually what you're telling it over and over and over again. And so it records what you're saying and what you're feeling. And so when we start telling our brain things that we're afraid of or the stories that we're telling it, that's what I call future thought. You're coming up with things that you're already saying, and you're coming up with a whole story. You got a narrative, you got characters, you got a plot. You even have endings, you got outcomes. You've already figured out in your mind all these things that can go wrong. And guess what? You haven't even done one thing yet. You haven't even taken one step, and all of a sudden you're like, nope, all this stuff is going to happen. I know it's going to happen, and you don't move. Right? We've all been there. Because the more we think about these possible outcomes, the more we end up believing them. That's the problem. So what we actually say, we actually believe. So I hit the streets of New York City because I wanted to know what people are saying about fear as it relates to them. Let's take a look.
My biggest fear is typically what holds me back is failure.
One of my fears is not being able to achieve those goals that I originally set for myself.
One of my fears is not being myself when I make my film.
I've always did it by the book, everything right, so I think I'm scared for the first time I'm gonna hit a wall. Yeah, that's scary.
It's super scary when you think you're going to hit that wall. But as you can see, a lot of people are fearful of a lot of things. And I know many of you can relate to those fears. You probably have some of the same fears as well. So today, my job is to break down why we let fear even happen in our lives, and how we're going to interrupt it, and then how we're going to move past it, and ultimately get you to believe what I'm saying in that fear is fake. Now, we all know what fear feels like, right? Everybody knows what it feels like. This is Sally Settle. Sally Settle is going through it right now. That heart is pumping. Your breathing goes faster, your head starts sweating, your pupils dilate, your mouth gets dry. You feel like you're dying when you are afraid of something. That's how you really feel. And I'm not here to judge you for that. That's not the role of this show. The show is to support you. So what you feel is real to you. I get that. Some people are so afraid to go and speak to someone, to ask that question, to go to a networking event by themselves. Those are real fears. I get it. But fear is fake because it's assumptions, and those things are holding you back. So let's talk just a little bit about the science behind all of this. Now, you probably heard fight or flight. Have you heard this before? Yeah, right? Okay, everybody's heard this. Now, this is in response to our sympathetic nervous system. Our nervous system kicks in when we are afraid of something or something we've told ourselves we're afraid of. What happens is we become super focused. Our body tenses up, and you go through this whole physiological reaction to this perceived threat to your survival. Now, out in the street, that could be a real threat. So we need that system to be aware of things that could actually harm us. But when it comes to our dreams, when it comes to our passions, when it comes to making career moves, that's a different threat. But our body treats that threat just like somebody that's trying to take us out. That's what happens. Our mind and body doesn't know the difference. It just knows fear is going through us, so then we lock up. But you're not going to die if you go and speak on that stage. You're not going to die if you go and ask that boss for that raise. It's not going to happen. It's all perceived. Your perception is perceived. It's all perceived. It's not real. We tell ourselves these stories, And things like, I'm terrible at public speaking. How many of you think you're terrible at public speaking? Show of hands. Only a couple people? All right, that's good, that's good. No one will ever listen to my pitch. Who's been afraid to pitch somebody an idea that they've had or ask their boss for a raise before? Like, these are real fears, I get it. But why does this happen? It's because these are the stories that we constantly tell ourselves of the things that we're actually afraid of. We suffer so much in those stories. We believe the story so much, and our brain remembers it so vividly that this is something that we're actually afraid of. And these are all assumptions, people. We can predict the future somehow. If we can assume what's going to happen to us, we can control the future. You can't control the future, but assumptions make you feel like you can. So the question really becomes, how do you stop all this from happening? How do you interrupt this? How do you move past those thoughts that are holding you back? So here's a really simple tip. I'm going to start you off right away. You're going to laugh at me or you're going to think I look crazy when I do this. But right off the bat, the next time you have fear, you're going to do this. You're going to put your hand right on your head. Just like this. You can do it. Yeah. You're like, really? Okay, you put your hands down. But here's why you're doing this. I just wanted you to go through that because what you're actually doing is you are interrupting your thoughts. This is a trigger that I'm teaching you. When you go through that next feeling, you get that panic or you get that anxiety, that's actually called anticipatory anxiety. You're anticipating the anxiety that you're about to have. Hasn't really hit yet, but it's starting to fester, so you're anticipating it. So what you want to do is interrupt your thoughts. Okay, and besides being anxious and fearful, you may also experience confusion, hopelessness, loss of control. All of these things are real. But being that these things are uncertain and you don't know the results, you start thinking negatively because you're not in control. When you don't have certainty, that holds you back. If you knew you were certain you were going to get a raise, and then you would ask that boss. If you knew you were certain you were going to look trim and fit, if you went to the gym 5 days a week, you would go. But you're not guaranteed any of that, so since it's uncertain, it's fearful. These negative emotions and thoughts all are happening, and they come from our brain. They're coming from the limbic system. The limbic system in our brain is the emotional part of our brain. Now, the front of your brain is where your prefrontal cortex is located. The reason why I'm getting into all this science is because the prefrontal cortex is where your rational decision-making takes place. But your emotions are back here. Your rational decision-making is up here. So what I'm trying to do is get you to deal with your anxiousness. So one of the things that you can just do is just take your hand, put it on your forehead, and then consciously recognize those thoughts and fears. By putting your hand on your head, what I'm asking you to do is, oh, I'm feeling this thought, it's coming in, I'm going to interrupt it by putting my hand on my head, because what that's going to do is I'm telling myself, is that a real fear? Am I about to die? Or is this an irrational fear? Is this something I'm making up? I want you to move it from the emotional part of your brain to the rational decision-making part of your brain. So that's why I'm asking you to do this. When you feel that way, you put your hand on your head and you say, okay, Mario told me to put my hand on my head. Am I about to get eaten by a lion? Open my eyes. No, I'm not about to get eaten by a lion. Okay, I'm just worried about going on that stage. Let me do some deep breathing, get over this, blah, blah. I'm trying to get you the first step. I'm not teaching you the whole thing just yet, but that's the first step to interrupt your thoughts. Another way to actually attack fear is to physically attack it. Like physically do something that you can create a mental positive shift. When you use your body to change your energy, it can change your mentality. So one powerful technique is called the power pose. Now, what's a power pose? If you don't know what a power pose, this right here is what a power pose looks like. Right? This is a power pose. Look at that. This is a power pose. My favorite is probably one of those still right there in the middle. This is a power pose. That's one of my favorite power poses. Now, this is for real research. I'm not just making this up and got people looking like Wonder Woman and Superman just doing this for, this is for real. Real research on this has proven that your testosterone increases by 20% and your cortisol levels, which is actually your stress, it reduces by 18%. Just by standing in a power pose, people. So don't laugh at me when you see me in the green room preparing for my scripts and doing my stuff, and I'm in there like this, and people are looking at me like, what is he back there doing? Why is he? Because I'm getting myself in a confident state of mind. I'm shifting my energy in a way to give me the power, the energy to empower myself. You have to believe it and it will happen. So you know what else is real? We did a poll because, you know, we're an interactive show. We like to interact with all of you, especially you online. Make sure you're hitting those comments. I jump in and comment with you. We asked all of you, what is the big personal fear that's holding your greatness back? Is it fear of rejection, fear of embarrassment, or fear of uncertainty? 50% said fear of uncertainty. That's what I was talking about earlier. If it's certain, you're going to do it. If it's not certain, you back away. Take a look at the other responses. 25% for rejection, 25% for embarrassment. So people are really afraid of what's not certain. Just think about that for a minute. The thing that is holding you back, something we call fear, is preventing us from moving forward in our life. You end up wondering all about the what ifs. How many times when fear has hit, you go, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? What ifs for everything, which is usually then followed up by something that's like negative that's happening in your mind. You know, this is a real process that we go through as humans, and what I'm trying to really get you to see is it's something that you can actually stop, and that's just why I believe fear is fake. Fear creates such a powerful self-paralysis to us, though. Locks us up because we go right into what we think might go wrong. But what if you actually flip the question? Instead of saying, what if it goes wrong, have you ever considered what if it goes right? That's a really big shift. It's easier said than done, but when you start going through those what ifs, say Mario said, stop thinking about the what if on the negative. What if I do get that raise? How does that help me or my family? What if I do get that relationship? What does that mean for me as a person? What if I do get that job? Or what if I do get that passion? Or what if I do start that business? Like, that's for real. If you think about the other side for a second, you feel so much more empowered. You feel so much more energy because it really makes you feel good when you say, what if it does work out? It's real. Recently, I'm going to prove this to you. I sat down with a guy named Daniel Johnson, who has an incredibly inspiring story, but was also in fear of putting himself out there. And we all can be in fear of putting ourselves out there. So I want you to pay attention to his story. Check it out. This is Dan. Hey, man, first off, thanks so much for joining us to do this.
Yeah,
man.
thank you for having me
I
here.
appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
I know you're an upbeat guy, and I know you're, big into inspiration and motivation, but I want to actually go back to a little bit in your story and talk about your childhood for a little bit. What was that like growing up?
Growing up, man, I had all the energy in the world. After a period of time, I ended up homeless. You know that big photo album you'll open up and mom would just, and grandma would go through the photos? Yeah, all of that was auctioned off. Now, I wasn't on drugs, I wasn't, drinking or anything like that, but hard times is hard times. The way I dealt with it was just optimism, like, I'm happy to be alive. I had no other choice. That fire was now kicked under my feet, saying, Daniel, you need to do something and you need to do it now. I then developed Daniel Johnson, which allowed me also to start my own company. My company name is Get Up Incorporated. I'm here to support you, challenge you, and also, most of all, celebrate with you when we cross the finish line together.
Here you are, a person that's been through a lot, and you're building a business, you're building a company, you're building your identity, you're helping other people get theirs. But I get the sense that you've been holding back on some things that you could do because maybe ambitious people are perfectionists. You've been holding back on sharing your story.
Yeah, man.
Because you don't have a website. I can't find you.
Yeah, I got the IG, I got Facebook, but the website was really the fear of me producing me. Me assuming that I'm just not good enough to present myself to the people, afraid of stepping out and just really showing myself. It was so many excuses. Fear of just, again, me.
So today we're gonna help, we're breaking each other, because you break through for fear for other people all the time. Mm-hmm. And I gotta get you over this one little step.
Well, please.
So I'm getting ready to show you how Wix works.
Yep.
It's gonna be very accessible for anyone to make this, but it's gonna look super professional, both on desktop and mobile.
Okay.
You ready for this?
Yeah, I'm
All
ready.
Right. My favorite feature with this is that they have something called ADI, which for people like you that don't know how to build websites, means all you have to do is answer some questions. At the end, it's gonna build a site for you.
Cool.
All right, so the first question is, who do you want to create a website for?
Myself.
Enter the business type. Is it a fitness company? Is it a motivational company?
Motivational company, yes.
Motivational. All right, now you get to, what do you need on your website? Do you want to have a chat mechanism? Do you want to have people book you for appointments? Do you want to have a blog, an online store, video, Instagram feed, paid plan, subscription form, music? See what I mean?
Yeah.
So check the boxes of the things that are important for you to have on your website. Look at that.
That's
Unlock your
awesome.
potential, transform your life, begin your journey.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Okay.
Which one do you want?
Begin my journey.
Okay. Anything that you want to move, you can slide. Like if you want the video to go up higher, testimonials to come down, all of that you have full control over. You're not stuck to the template that you see here.
This is big. This might be it.
But honestly, man, your website's done. But in order to get the universe to respond to you, you got to put yourself out into the universe.
Absolutely.
This is giving you that step.
Yeah. Before walking in this room, I didn't have a website. Leaving out of here today, I'm confidently saying that I have a website now that people can actually tune in and actually see me grow.
Now, do you wish you would have done this a little bit sooner?
Yeah, just about. And my wife probably told me to do this before, so.
Yeah, that's a good piece. It's a great story. It's a great story. This young man has been through a lot, and he knows who he is and what he's doing with his life. And I'm super, super proud of this guy for taking the steps to overcome his fear. And look at his website now. I mean, after spending a little bit of time on it, it's ready, people, to get him out there. I'm so proud of this dude. Look at that. Is that not awesome? That is off the chain. Yes. And as you can see, it's designed with Wix.com, okay? I only work with companies and products that I really feel are important to the partnership and to what we're doing here with the show. So I only feature things that I actually believe in or use myself. In fact, we use it for our own show website. NeverSettle.tv is built on Wix. It's because really Wix is the best platform for you to create that website that really can get you out there. It's going to look beautiful on mobile and desktop. You saw it. It looks amazing. So I want to give a special thanks to Wix for sponsoring the show and, more importantly, for really helping creators and people go after their vision, people like Daniel. Give Wix a round of applause, please. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's true. It's true. I mean, he's got a website now, right? He had that beautiful website. Before, what did he have? He had a whole bunch of what ifs. What if, what if, what if, what if. Lots of what ifs. What ifs are expectations. We want to replace what ifs with a plan and action. That's the difference. What if I screw up that presentation I have to give to the office? What if I have this issue or this challenge? All that gets replaced with a plan and action. If you take action with good intent, you are going to get good intent coming back to you. This is a proven universal law. If you treat people well, people will treat you well. If you're the only one that always seems to have a problem with everybody else, it's time for you to address you in the mirror, and let's get real about fixing that. If you have a plan, you can take action. No plan, no action. So what's a plan? A plan is really just a series of basic small steps, and in this case, small steps to help us overcome fear. I build a thing that I like that's called a fear ladder. This is a fear ladder. We're going to put this up on the website so you can grab it yourself at NeverSettle.tv so that you can download this fear ladder. We give you a template so that you can plot your own steps, all right? Because this is going to get you towards your goal and away from your fear. So let's say you are really fearful about giving a presentation. That's your fear. Whatever your fear may be, you put it all the way at the top of the ladder. That's the fear. So how can we start, Mario? How can I make a plan and take action? With very small steps that you can control, that make you feel like you're in control, and if something goes wrong, are very small risk. Very, very small risk. It's not a big failure. And by the way, there's no such thing as failing. The only way you fail is if you don't try or you don't learn. That's it. Failure does not exist. But we teach everybody to win, win, win. And since we teach everybody to win all the time, we don't teach people how to embrace and understand the power of going through a process. We want to call it failure, but you aren't failing. You're actually doing. You're actually doing. There's two people in life, the people that I wish or the people that said I did. So here's how you can take simple steps. You can watch a TED Talk. This is something easy for you to do, something you can just watch just to see how someone else does it. You could then go to a Toastmasters meetup and observe public speaking. You can practice your talk and record it on your phone. My favorite is number 4, watch yourself on mute. When I'm talking, am I looking angry and I'm saying something that's supposed to be happy? Or am I saying something that's serious and I'm looking like it's all jolly and everything's all good? So you really want to do that. You can then practice in front of your family. Easy, depending on your family members. You can practice with a friend on the phone, video call, or at home. You're taking all these very small steps to then finally get you to give your presentation. So the point is the fear ladder is there to really show you that you can actually accomplish this if you break down that anxiety into really, really, really small steps. I see a lot of nods. Glad it's starting to sink in. So now you got a plan, and you've put yourself in the best possible position to win. And people, that is what life is about, quite honestly. Just putting yourself in the best possible position to win. All you can do is what you've been given. You've been given God-given talents. You've been given all types of tools. You've been given things that people have tried to shut down in you, that told you your uniqueness isn't that special. You've been bullied. You've had things happen to you in your life. All of these things have happened for a reason. And it's your job to decide if you want to be that super courageous about yourself, be super vulnerable with yourself, and actually pull into that and say, I'm not going to be afraid anymore. Mario's right. Fear is fake, especially as it relates to going after our passions, to going after our dreams. So, you're about to try something new, right? When you leave this show, okay? You're going to feel anxious about something. You're going to think about it. You're going to get fearful about it. Well, here's the good news. When you feel that anxiousness, that's actually a good thing. And here's why. It means you're about to accomplish something really great. You're about to have some growth. Why? Because personal growth only happens outside your comfort zone. Only. It's the place that makes you feel safe. This little itty-bitty spot right here, it feels like warm apple pie that your mom bakes for you all the time. That's the comfort zone. But here's the problem with things that are safe. Things don't change when we play safe, people. They don't change. The place where things change is when we start hitting that fear zone. Right there at the edges. Right at the edges. So when you feel that nervousness, when it kicks in and you start to tense up and you're putting your hand on your head, you're interrupting your thoughts, you're really understanding it's irrational, but then you're saying, Mario said this is a great thing that I feel this way. Yes, my armpits look sweaty as heck, but it's a great thing because you're about to explode. And when you explode, you reach new comfort zones. When you reach new comfort zones, life changes for you. It just does. If you don't decide to embrace the fear at the edges of your comfort zone, just hang it up. I really feel completely bad about giving you this bad news. But if you just want to live in the comfort zone, that is fine. Just understand you can't also say, I want to go after this, or I want to have a dream about that, or I want to make this thing happen in my life. By the way, don't try to prove people wrong. Don't. Here's what I want you to do. Prove the people that support you right. We work so hard on trying to prove other people, and I did it too, because it does fuel you, but it can fuel you for a second. If you use it for a second as I'm going to show them, that's okay. The minute it turns into I'm going to show them because I'm better than them and it starts to become a lot of negative energy that you're starting to carry, even though you're trying to do something good for yourself. What's actually better is to say, let me do it for the people that think I can do this. Let me do this for the people that have supported me. Let me do this for the people that have said, you got a skill, you got a talent, you're special, you can make that happen. Otherwise, we never grow. And that's just a fact. So you have to start doing things that you're uncomfortable doing, or you'll never, ever grow. And here's the bottom line. You don't create your life first and then live it. Okay, you create it by living it. It's a very big difference. The universe can't help you if you're standing still. So don't let the fakeness of fear paralyze your passion. You are incredible. You have a gift. You have a purpose, and your job is to deliver your greatness, people. Bottom line, fear is fake. Straight up, never settle. So we're building this community together, right, on this YouTube page. So I need to hear from you. I really want to get intimate. If you like what's going on, tell me what you like. If there are topics that you want me to talk about or touch on, tell me what those are. If you don't like what I'm talking about, tell me why. This is not just about me talking to you, it's about us having a conversation with us. So if this has been doing anything for you, like it, subscribe to it, it definitely matters. Hit the little bell icon for the notifications too, so you can get hit up for that, and then share it out. But even like I said, if you're not into what's being said, tell me why not, so that I can adjust to make it more pleasant and more valuable for you.